We rejoin our party. Outside the doorstep of Morkir's Dark Tower, simply to cross the moat and approach the door, if you so choose.
Are we trying to be stealthy, or are we making more of an announcement now?
Hey, yo, bitch!
Because Key's gonna go kick the door open if no one stops her.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Wait. Before we go in, as Farron brought up, if we kill him, which I have complete faith in all of our abilities that we can complete this mission. If we kill him, I don't know what that means for me. I don't know if I will die or if it will release everyone else to be like I am now. But just in case, thank you all for being my friends. She's gonna look to Farron and Liliana specifically because she's been watching them and like learning from them this whole time. Thank you both. Lewin, I hope you find love again. If not in this life, the next. Open your heart more.
Well, I can't say I'm looking.
In time. And Fox J. You were the first to be my friend. She's going to reach into her pocket and pull out her shiny button. It's made of pearl. She's going to hand it to you. Pearls come from the ocean, and I like to think ocean brought us together. She's going to place it in your hand. Close your hand around it.
She's gone and still keeps giving me all sorts of gifts. Thank you.
And all of us. Look at us. Misfits. We had different plans for our lives. All of our fortunes were missed. But now we have new fates. Best of luck to you all.
I'll take a missed fortune if it means that we get the chance to set things right. It's been an honor.
Agreed.
I've had many misfortunes in my life. And if one of them is dying with all you lot here in this fucking tower, I'm not sure I could count it a misfortune. But let's try to fucking don't.
Gonna tie some twine in the button, put it through Ocean's ring, just as like a little kind of dangle. I don't know what you're talking about. My fortune's right here.
Are you ready?
Ready as I can
Yes.
be.
Stay at least
still have
10
to
feet from
have-
behind me.
You
Liliana,
approach.
you still have to-
Go ahead.
Yes, Talon.
It's a little bit of a heavier hit than my staff.
You want the staff? And I'll
If it's all
unhitch
the
it
same.
from. I'll unhitch it from my pack, and do a little fancy spin. Quite well.
Following you.
You make your way across what was once beautiful stonework bridge leading to what seemed like maybe it was initially the keep or some important place of significance within Marndell itself, this once great city now fallen to the blight. The brick stonework still has a bit of beauty in its own way, in its own light. If you were none the wiser to what it meant and could look past the morbidity, you could almost say that the black purple stone with little specks of green was almost beautiful. The tower itself, a deeper black, even less specks of those purple and green all throughout it. The doors to it, massive, almost cathedral-like doors. It's almost silly looking how massive the doors are compared to the little door knockers that sit on either side of the doors to be opened. Once again, a somehow reinforced but still decayed kind of wood. The architecture of the tower itself is simple and almost cliche in the almost spired design of it. You can see elements where there are completely opaque, almost just decorative windows near the top of the tower. You can only see faintly through the fog that hangs overhead and makes this day, or whatever it may be, seem like night and feel like night, like the dark night of the soul. It looms as you approach. Nothing seems to be attracted to your approach as you come upon the door itself and beam up at its height. What would you like to do?
Evelina. Farron. Take the lead. I'll stay behind. If something comes, they won't see me coming. I'll take the back.
Right.
Liliana will pull her head, her hood more to cover her face in the mask and make her way towards the back of the party.
Is anyone able to see if the doors are locked or if there's any magic to keep us out? I'm afraid I don't have much talent for these sorts of things.
Check if you like. I'll go first. Perhaps being undead might help in some way. And I want to go and see if there are any traps on the door, or if it's even just unlocked, or anything like that.
Yep. Go ahead and roll a investigation check.
That's a nat one.
Fuck,
Yeah,
there's a door?
You don't see
It's a
any
door.
discernible. You don't see any discernible way to either peer under or look through any kind of like keyhole, so to speak, or any edges along the door itself. Any way to tell if it seems trapped, though, as you make your approach and kind of almost put a go to reach to put a hand on the door to kind of investigate it further, it opens up.
That's not one I've ever rolled.
Checks the door for traps, rolls a 1, opens immediately. It seems to open on its own as you make your approach.
We were expected.
It's
I
not
told you
ominous.
he's got the fucking eyeball and the fucking crystal like we got. If not that, something even stronger. He knows we're fucking coming.
Let's hope we've got some surprises for him yet then.
He kind of gleans at Liliana. Let's hope he didn't see that coming. Maybe it'll do something for us, I don't know.
Only one way to find out. Be ready.
Let's go.
Coming in, it's very dark. Whatever light was outside kind of leaks in, but oddly enough, as you make your way in and enter this darkness, as if your eyes have adjusted quickly in some manner, the need for light seems unnecessary. Somehow within even the kind of mood-lit chamber of this first story of the tower, it is enough to see even without dark vision.
I have dark vision.
I have dark. I have it if I need it. I have it.
No vision.
DM, as we pass these kind of crystalline structures, as we ascend this, I want to pay particular attention if they have energy within them.
If you pass what?
Those crystals, any sort of like crystalline structure. If there are any here, if the wall is kind of made of just, if they're present and if they have that kind of blighted energy still.
So, making your way into this room, it at first feels almost empty. And then after some inspection, while inside, you see what seemed like just maybe architectural adornments within the floor are actually proper raised altars of some sort within them, and you now realize as you come in closer, each of you, that the darkness of the floor has veiled what currently stains most of the floor and much of the altars that form almost a grid pattern. A few dozen altars. Just basically stone slabs perched across a stone pedestal.
Something foul has happened here.
Not to sound insensitive, but do you think this might be where they took your people?
If not mine, then someone else's.
Is anybody watching us?
Roll perception check.
Well, always, apparently, if that eye was just staring.
14.
As far as you can tell, it doesn't seem to be any other creatures in this room.
Okay.
Those creatures count as living.
Yes, creature. There doesn't seem to be any entities watching you currently.
Does it seem like there's any lingering energy in this room from whatever ritual took place, or does it seem like it occurred and then is no longer ongoing?
I would say the majority of people could certainly feel a certain degree of woe and energy, so to say. A certain somewhat would feel a large degree more. I'm not going to name any Evelinas, but yeah, Evelina, you feel a very strong metaphysical, energetic presence here.
There's something here. I don't know what it is, but there's something.
In the room or further up?
All around. I don't know what it is. I never felt this before. Can I tell where it's like coming from, or like hone
It
in on it?
feels a lot like almost when you enter your meditative state to commune with spirits, where that feels like every now and then you feel one like flutter past. That sense, it doesn't feel safe though, as it does when it doesn't feel comfortable as it does when you do it typically. It feels restless, and like there are, where normally it's one here or there, it feels like it's almost all encompassing. Just a constant flood, as if when you focus on it even for a little bit, you feel as if like tidal wave after tidal wave of spirits rush through you restlessly.
I think this is where it all happens. Where he makes him part of his undead army. There's so many tortured souls.
They're trapped here.
It's
they?
wrong. Yes, there's so many of them.
Is there anything that we can do for them here?
I don't think so. This feels different than what I can do. It feels wrong. It feels... We should leave this place.
DM, just a couple questions about the ritual spots.
Mm-hmm.
You said they were kind of on a grid pattern. Like, if you look at them kind of as a whole, do they create something else, like something larger? If I were to have like a bird's eye view,
You don't get the sense that it's forming any kind of bird's eye view. It just seems like for spacing and organizational purposes, it's almost as if yeah, it's just like stations. It's like each of those is a different station where they could perform.
necromantic interior decoration.
Yeah, as one does.
Okay. Is there a certain type of script along? Not that I would most likely be able to read it, but any sort of discernible. I know what this language is.
Doesn't seem to be any kind of text or script within or with on. This stream is brought to you by Withon. It's a new word I just made up. It doesn't seem to be any kind of text or writing inscriptions or anything like that. They're pretty plain, aside from the blighted stone that they are, which who knows what they were in their past life, so to say.
Yeah, I think Evelina's right. We should probably get going. Even if we knew more about them, I don't know what we could do.
Can I touch one of the stations to see if I can glean any more from it?
By Evelina.
She's gonna just blank look over her face in like sort of confusion, but more of just there's something more here, and whatever's closest to her, she's just gonna slowly walk up to it, slowly raise her hand and place her palm on it.
Yeah, as you touch it, you die immediately.
Great. Bye, guys.
So yeah, everybody who said all of them survive, you're wrong already. She died immediately. No. What you do feel is that same sensation of the tidal wave after tidal wave. It's as if you focus in on a group of them, a group of these entities that seem to flutter around restlessly, and it turns from restlessness to torment, and you feel as if the wails and screams and cries of all those, if not tortured physically, tortured spiritually.
She's gonna quickly take her hand away, and there's tears in her eyes.
What is it?
And you're right, they're all trapped here. Tortured souls. There's so much pain.
All we can try to do is bring the tower down. We bring down the one who's done this, we might be able to set them free.
Yes.
And we have to hope that that's enough.
They're talking and doing their thing. Alan will take out the staff and look at what the eye is doing.
As you take out the staff and kind of peer into it, hoping to see some kind of insight as to what is to come, you see something you have not seen yet before within this staff. The eye, shifting frantically, rolls into many contorted positions as if it's trying to focus its attention on all of those focusing in on it at this moment. You do notice it doesn't seem to be looking at just your party or you.
Fine. I will take my scarf and tie it around the top of the staff. To hide it, because that's disconcerting. Very gross, weird. I think we need to get moving. As everyone else has said. Sooner rather than later, we came here to do a job.
Does it look like that there's any notable path to ascend the tower?
Yes, there is a rounding staircase along the side as you enter off across the right side. It starts out open on the side inner to the circle itself of the tower, and then becomes walled as it makes its way up. Rather tall ceilings within this place for whatever that is necessary, as it seems like a lot of wasted space. Wasted space that, at least in the physical realm, seems to be unoccupied.
Whoever would
Right.
like to lead. And I gesture to the staircase.
He starts walking up.
Yep.
I've
You
seen
make your
scarier.
way. Making your way to that set of stairs. Again, that same familiar stonework. As you ascend even just the first few slight flights of steps, you feel this kind of drastic change in temperature. As if all warmth has been sucked away from this place. It's strange. It's not as if it's like a exterior cold. You know, when it's just cold outside, it's almost an internal chill. It creeps up your spine. As if your blood itself has grown cold.
You guys see a
Here-
window I'm not aware of? It's
Are there
freezing.
any?
There are none. No, not as you make your way up.
It's cold as death in here.
Fitting.
No offense, Evelina.
None taken.
As we walk, I'm going to go ahead and pull one of my arrows. I'm not drawing the bow, but I just have it knocked and ready to pull back as I'm walking around, like, middle of the pack, just trying to keep an eye on what might be ahead.
Mm-hmm. You make your way up to this second story. Rounding the corner at the top of these stairs is a set of doors. Similar to the ones that sit outside the entrance, this strong, heavy-duty wood with accents of a sturdy metal and stonework. But smaller, not as massive as those, but similar in appeal, aesthetic, and design. It's currently shut at this moment.
Go poke it with a headless staff.
You reach out to open it or to poke it at least, and it opens itself, much like the main doors.
This is too easy.
Feels an awful lot like we're walking into a fucking trap.
I'm sure in his mind we are.
I think that it is correct that he wants us dead. But it is because we are able that we have gotten this far. We die inside the blight, we come back. But not ourselves. That's what he wants. His
So don't
hubris
die.
is... So don't die.
He's tried to kill us once before.
Wait,
Let's not give him another opportunity.
what if he dies? Would he not be changed too? Wouldn't that just continue the cycle?
It depends if
Would
this
it-
magic is
well.
channeled through him or whatever he's got up there. Floating atop this fucking tower. I imagine whatever we do, he's not the end of what we need to do. We're gonna have to do something with whatever he's crafted to make all this happen.
That's a good point, Lewin. He might use that against us. Something we don't know. Souls that Avelina saw as bargaining chips. You gotta be ready for some of the worst decisions of. Be ready.
We could just find a way to topple the tower and not go up.
It's a big tower.
If I remember right, you have big spells.
Lots of scary things outside. I seem to recall you and Baron, especially, really, and Liliana, well, here, really wanting to.
I want a piece of him, but I'd rather friends continue to stay living. My vengeance should not also fall who I consider friends.
I agree. But the answers we might get at the top of the might be lost by toppling it over. And hey, if we gotta leave really quick, option. Balloon's right. There's something at the top of the tower. We gotta get.
Lead the way.
Pushing open those doors, still that anticipation of expecting some kind of trap. Finding none. And the doors opening in on themselves proves to be almost more looming than as if it were just blocked in some way. This next room, as you see in kind of a simple library design, rounded bookcases along the perimeter and set out in a kind of grid design. There's nothing to that. It's just a handy layout. Okay. Filled with lots of different texts. As you approach this room and enter, you all feel this shortness of breath. Where once you had that feeling of cold, with no chill, no breeze, no wind, just internal, this same heaviness on your chest that makes it feel as though the air is dense.
Is there a scent on the air? Does this feel like a physical effect or more of like a spiritual pressure sort of thing?
It feels spiritual enough to affect you physiologically. Powerful enough in the spiritual sense, or in the non-physical sense, to feel as if there is a physical force there.
Are any of the open books in the library, is there anything notable or thematic in the texts that are currently scattered about?
There doesn't seem to be anything scattered about. Everything seems to be very neatly within its categorized place.
How tall are the ceilings? Sorry.
Much like the ones before, it's odd. Once again, a lot of unused space up above the bookshelves themselves. So the bookshelves don't actually have it's not the kind you would need a ladder. I know that's super fantasy and very disappointing that they're not like that, but you wouldn't need a ladder to go. I know, this is the saddest thing about this entire episode. No, they're all at least just standing height enough that you would be able to just reach up and grab whatever you need. There are still a lot. I mean, more than the average person could possibly own or probably read in a lifetime. But it is a Grandmaster Wizard, so who knows where he's gotten all of his inspiration and idealizations from in his time. And not only that, his knowledge and power itself.
I'd like to see if Mein Kampf is on the shelf. I feel like it'd be
It is,
here.
yeah, it's actually in a golden case. Oh my god. Jeez. No. Yeah, this guy basically, yeah, he probably has a book like that.
I'm just saying, looking at Farron, feels like he totally would have it on his shelf.
Even though there's no books or like scrolls or anything that are open
Mhm.
anywhere.
Yeah.
It's all just kind of neatly in place. Are there any sits-abouts, decorations on the wall, anything that would sort of indicate more about what this guy is like?
The only thing that you get that indicates what this guy is like is the orderliness of it, but also the strange sense of chaos within the aspect of no decorations. Very pragmatic. Everything is just what it needs to be. The decoration that is there is only within the architecture of the walls itself, but there's no like gargoyles or statues or anything like that carved. It's just the simple structural design of the tower itself.
Liliana will be walking around, and Farron looks at a picture or seems to be looking for something. She'll go over her shoulder and say, "It seems all this man loves is his books and his studies."
It's strange to see a place so barren. Must be very meticulous.
You can't see facial expressions because she is wearing that disciple's mask. But you'll see her head just slightly move up and look around. I get this feeling that the tower is very much a resemblance of him.
I would think so. I wish if there were any way for us to jump up the side without having to go through all of these levels. Now that I believe it was Lewin mentioned the orb or the eye, whatever it is up at the top, has me worried.
Three out of the many floors to come. I don't think we're going to find anything here. We should keep going.
You're right.
As you turn to make your way to the next flight of stairs, you see it kind of catches your attention and puts you on edge for a second. A hand floats, incorporeal rather, and in its hand a book. It floats across the library, and you see just a small little space where the book is inset by this floating hand. And it is put back in its rightful place within the library bookshelves.
Any chance we can snag a peek at the title as it's floating by?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a perception check. Or you could go up and look at the book itself, where it was put back.
I'll do that one.
He is just trying to light a spark, trying to set the books on fire with her elbow when there's claws. Just it's like he doesn't need these, right?
23 to try to catch a glimpse.
Yeah, looking at it at first, you see that there is a very kind of bland leather book cover that is a kind of dark blue and inset in gold lettering and a gold, almost glittery design of an eye. The title of it just says The Sight.
I would like to go grab that book.
Okay. Looking at it closer, you see no other writings. It has a name along the side. It means nothing to you. You don't know the person. Not sure anybody would. It says Kata. Can't even pronounce my own thing. Kata ke ni. Wait, Kata ka nai. Sorry. I will spell that out. And Kata ka nai. Kata ha nai. That is the name of this. The author, presumably. The book, The Sight. And it has a kind of decorative eye. Just, again, in that gold inlay.
So I am able to go grab it.
You die immediately. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I knew it!
I've been waiting for that.
So just curious and very perturbed. I'd like to open it and just kind of flip. Is this about what I have referenced? With
there are some references to that as you kind of flip through, even just peering at the chapters, not lingering on anything for too long. You get the general idea within a few moments that it includes not only what your people may be familiar with, but even glimpses into mayhaps what our friend struggles with or is blessed with, depending on how you look at it. It talks about ancient practices of the utilization of such gifted people. And I say utilization in the worst form. Something that may also be familiar to our unfortunate friend. Talks about the ritual removal of eyes of those who have the sight and how they can be utilized as components for creating not only magic items, typically magical items, but other times magical just components themselves. It goes into other topics, diving into that kind of clairvoyance, even taps into just a very brief little blurb about another member's certain blessing or curse, depending on how you look at it. The evocation of the dead for potential insight into what cannot be seen in the physical realm. Diving in further, you see different aspects that talk about oracles, their history, and some of the most powerful ones and what they foresaw, and others who fell to corruptions in the past, corruptions of trying to dabble with the future, trying to dabble with things to control outcomes, to attempt to get the best possible outcome that fate could provide. Talks on how sometimes it's hard to discern whether something was a past, present, or future insight. Sometimes it's hard to tell, and sometimes there's considerable overlap as those are kind of muddled through. And talks on how those with the sight but lose their physical sight tend to have it even further. Those who are blind and cannot see physically but can see into only the magical realm. Oracles that are the most powerful behave in such manner, or are blessed/cursed in such manner. Anything else that you would like to specifically try to glean info on?
Are there any spots where it appears that the pages have been turned more frequently to? Are there any areas where you might see, like, wearing at the corners? He doesn't seem like the type to dog-ear a page, but anything that would indicate he's revisited it.
Yeah, roll an investigation check for that.
Ew, it's not great. 15?
It's hard to discern because the book seems almost immaculate. It's hard to tell that there was anything that was, and you get a sense almost as if it's not even been touched by physical hands, maybe. It was even just turned with a magical hand, even. The pretentious laziness, or is it even that? Open. Who dares touch their own books to have them opened? Oh.
Judging by this, and you'll have to forgive me, not as accustomed to reading common, but from what I can gather, some of us, and I look at Talon, were targeted for this sort of thing from the start. Looks like a particular interest in the past, the present, the future. Seeing things mortal eyes aren't usually accustomed to seeing.
What are you saying?
I'm saying
Go.
I'm saying that it is a documented practice to take the eyes of those who possess the sight.
Does it tell you what they're used for?
I'd imagine items like that staff you're carrying.
Is there anything? Where are you finding this? Is it in a book?
There was a book going back to a shelf. It was of interest. We've not the time to pour into it much more, but it would seem that this wizard is not the first to delve into such practices. Likely not going to be the last. And if any of us make it out of here, seems like this is a book that we might want to take. If only for an idea of what's been done and what might happen.
When you skimmed through it, was there something that could be of use?
I couldn't find anything more than what he's likely interested in. If any of you, Liliana, you're more. I'd imagined you're more accustomed to researching your prey in this way.
Take
Where I
the
come
book.
from, monsters don't read books.
She'll take the book. And she'll skim through it. I'm not sure how this all connects. But we should take it. I'll hold on to it, if that's okay.
If we make it out of here, I'd like to read it, but I trust it to your care till then.
You need a place to store it where it's out of the way. It's an infinite pouch.
Liliana will give it to Talon. I can't imagine Liliana having a big pack, so
Yeah.
it's so cute. So yeah. She'll hand it to Talon. Are we ready? We keep going.
Let's just go.
Making your way once again towards that next flight of stairs. Similar fashion to the last. Stepping out and up into this stairwell, you hear as it rumbles through the tower itself, and as you kind of like just brace yourself along the wall itself, anyone with a hand on that outer wall, feel the tower itself shake and rumble with the crack of thunder. You hear that as you climb up further into the tower itself. You feel, among the many other sensations that have accumulated in your trek into this upper hell, this sense of electricity traveling through your body. Familiar to Fox J, as it is his prime mode of existence, but to others it makes your hair stand on end. This just powerful energy accumulated with the already shortness of breath and feeling of dense pressure of the spiritual realm. The magic around you builds to those unfamiliar with any kind of magic innately. It is a strange sensation.
The U-bolt.
Not me this time. It's a different charge.
Strange feeling.
Even for me, yes.
Carry on.
Carry on.
Once again, walking up this flight of stairs, nearing the top, expecting that same frustration of reaching out to open the door before you even make it. Still 5-6 steps ahead of you, you just hear and the door is opened ahead of you. Anticipating
Welcoming us right in.
You
Going
head up and in. Again, still staying prepared, anticipating some kind of retaliation, resistance. You feel none except that which looms and lingers around you, the energy and forces that move beyond your sight. This next room seems to be a study of some sort, but a study in the sense of maybe a laboratory. On either side, you see these insets in the floor with grates. Looking ahead, you see that there's a small slope to the room itself that leads to kind of a central grate for anything that needs to seep through these easy exits and be drained elsewhere. Similar to that first room on the first floor. There are some altars, larger in this case. Different instruments strewn about. A rack with a wall of pegs where they each kind of hang from. You see there's cutting and crushing and mending tools. Among one of the slabs is a clothed hump of something. Underneath a just natural linen cloth draped over this mass.
He's gonna poke it with her scimitar.
It does not move or react to your poking.
Just like
As you come up
dramatically
closer
lifts the linen.
and dramatically lift the linens, you see this mass. A almost indistinguishable chunk of flesh mended together, similar in fashion to the bits of a figure that was once felled, two of them. Some of them that you've seen lumbering around the city below. You see where they're carefully stitched together and the bones have become rot and partially turned into this decay of purple and green and black crystal. Not fully formed, you see for whatever reason, if only to be more grotesque and morbid, the faces of two different people sewn together. There's no life
These crystals
within
have
them.
any use for you, Farron?
No. No, and a creature like that, were it to walk, would be better left dead.
All right. Puts the linen back on for the sake of Evelina, Farron, and everyone else.
You see on either side of this what appears to be fully charged crystals sitting atop pedestals within almost like a birdcage design that's ensconced on either side of this altar, this slab of sewn together flesh. They are not, it is a dormant energy, as if there are more states to this than you have seen. In this case, it's not actively charged, but you do sense that it does have a, it is charged, but not being utilized at this moment, if that makes sense. So it's not like activated. but it's not quite like the brittle, used up one within Arasham that Key was able to break.
Still wants to
easily.
punch it.
Yes, still wants to punch, yes.
I would like to fire an arrow at one of them.
Okay, go ahead and roll an attack.
That would be a total of 30 to hit.
30 does hit. Go ahead.
Uh, 11 points of piercing damage.
11 points of piercing damage as you see Farron with the already knocked arrow after just a moment, and almost all of you kind of thinking maybe the same thought at this time, like, this is bad juju, maybe turn this off or stop this. And she acts first and looses that arrow. The arrow strikes through the bird cage or whatever encases this stance and strikes the crystal, and the arrow glances off to the side and shatters within the cage and shatters on impact of the crystal. You see where it impacted, just a glow for a moment. The purple and green lights up as if the energy was expended to some extent.
Not enough to break it, but it looks like they can be damaged.
What about cleansed?
I lack the ability to do such things, but it would be worth a try.
Not that I have the abilities either. The only one that might would be Fox J. But
I can't
Probably
cleanse.
save that.
How many crystals are there?
So there appears to be these two right here. What you see, and as you kind of glean around the room, is that there's this trough of almost like expended batteries. You see the ones very similar to the ones that Key was able to very easily break. Seems like there's some sort of effort that is applied here in the creation of those ones that shamble around in their large, grotesque forms.
And there's linen on one of these abomination.
Yeah, there
It
only
just
seems to
seems-
be this one. It seems like it was one that was in progress. It's not even fully put together. It's maybe missing an arm and a leg. They cost too much.
And how
Let's go
far
punch
up?
it. I want to roll to punch it.
Okay. Which you want to punch? What? The mass or the crystal?
No, not the mask. That's Jerry and his wife. Poor thing.
Okay,
Let's.
yeah. Sewn together till death do us part. Yeah.
So we're gonna do the crystal. I want to see if I can attempt to punch the crystal. Okay, 18 plus. Counts as an unarmed strike, I'm guessing. Okay, 18 plus 8. Does that hit?
It does. Yeah. Go ahead and roll an attack.
Sweet. Damage is just 6 plus 5. So, yeah, 11 damage.
Okay, you die immediately. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Just gonna keep saying, everybody gets one.
about to say, we all get one.
You strike the crystal, and feeling it land, but almost ineffective in the sense that the contact to the crystal, you do bend in the cage itself a little bit and maybe make some secondhand contact with that crystal itself, and it knocks over the sconce with which it sits. And Farron, as you kind of walk up to inspect your attempted kill, you notice as the sconce kind of topples over, it falls over onto the blanketed figure, and with it, as it rolls off, it rolls up that blanket as it kind of gets caught within that cage design, and it pulls that cover off, and kind of glancing at the figure, disturbing as it is, and it's in of itself, when you recognize and see on some of the features of the faces, at least one that you can tell for what has been put together of it so far, a ear less than human and more akin to the elves, and even though it is but half a face, if even that, as it is from brow across the nose and to the other ear of what is elven in nature, even still you see a bit of a pattern, a tattoo of sorts, familiar.
I let out just a wail, just a feral sound, and looking away from the body, I'm going to go to the crystal that's on the floor, and I'm going to pull out my bone dagger and just start frantically trying to stab through the bars, trying to break it, just trying desperately.
In a series of strikes every now and then, just hitting the cage itself in these kind of reckless attacks, each dagger blow is met with that same pulse of blue and purple and green and black energy that pulsates with each strike. This goes on for some time and feels hopeless in a sense.
He's gonna walk over and just kind of do a bear hug lift and just you gotta save your energy, hon. I know it sucks, but save this anger for him.
A few more curses, very choice words in Elvish for anyone who can understand it, and finally I just go a little limp. Eyes on the ground. When you know even when you know you're not prepared to see.
He just goes and puts the linen back on, to the very least. Try to be respectful. Not really knowing what else to say.
During this time, Talon has reached into his bag and pulled out a torch and lit it. And we'll just pass it off to Farron.
I will take the torch and attempt to use it to immolate the body.
It takes some time. Flesh, not the most flammable of materials. It's almost just cooking it at first, and that stench of rotting flesh, as if the rot wasn't enough. The now smell of the whatever is left of the burnt hair and flesh that rots and burns. Takes some time, but it is set ablaze.
I see that there are any bits of parchment or anything that seems flammable nearby. Kind of add it underneath to move it along. There's not enough time to sing for this one. And I look up and look at the elven half of the face. I hope that you'll forgive me.
Alan will put a hand on Farron's shoulder. You can sing for them when we survive this. And maybe you can teach us your song. And we'll sing with you.
DM,
Yeah, go ahead.
with thaumaturgy, you can change the color of flame.
Mhm.
So can I make the flames match the color of Farron's tattoos?
You may. Yeah, they turn a little bit lighter in the fact that they are bright flames, but a similar blue and pattern.
Farron, there might not be a song. But fire dances naturally. So maybe there's just a song we don't. Let's go.
Anything anybody else would like to do within this chamber?
As Farron passes Evelina, she's just gonna give her hand a little squeeze. Just for the reassurance that we're all here for you. And I'm sorry.
Thank you. For everything.
There's not like an open window we can get this crystal out of.
No, there's not.
Okay.
Yay.
Could I say, well, the flame, you said the flame took a while to kind of catch. In that time, I'd give it a bunch of hits from the Morning Star.
To the crystal?
Yeah.
It takes some time, and again, very disheartening as you attempt to break up these items, or these gems. After some time, at this point, the cage itself completely shattered and opened up, hitting the crystal itself. You feel that same that energy that pulses out from it. Eventually, that becomes lesser and lesser until eventually it starts to crack, and finally you see as it shatters into smaller pieces, and still yet disheartening as even these smaller pieces have a degree of that magic that resides within them. You could crush it into dust and it seems that it would.
That's it. Before you go.
Making your approach towards that next set of stairs, you feel this very strange sensation as the compounding effects seem to grow, and as if you are sweating, it feels like. This sweat that, as you get that kind of sweat itch where it first starts to break through the pores when the pores aren't quite opened up enough and ready, and those of you with flesh exposed in some locations will find that your pores themselves are leaking blood.
That's unhealthy.
Everyone is sweating blood.
Sweating blood currently.
Through every pore?
Just in some places, it's like mostly kind of just like the larger pores, like those that reside on your upper or the upper side of your arms, and even somewhat still that kind of drip and bead up from your forehead. And you feel that it's not to the extent that it's pouring out by any degree, but it is
Pouring.
just a light. It is a light. Yeah, a light layer of blood forming.
Does it look like there are any sources of magical energy in this particular room? Anything that might be responsible for the effect?
I will say roll an Arcana check for that.
Oh boy, +0. I'm great at that. Yeah, beans. 11.
Nothing that you can reasonably hone in on, but there is just that presence that grows closer yet. That presence that feels powerful in ways that you've never felt or experienced before. A certain degree of energy and vibration in the air, obviously having a certain degree of physiological reaction in each person.
Does it seem like it's more so as we ascend and we get closer to what's above? Does
Yeah,
it...
it's pretty
Okay.
reasonably enough.
I think we've that light to blame. What's above the tower?
Yeah.
The closer we get, the worse it becomes.
We've been in proximity to the Blight for days now. Even those who survive are... their bodies can't take it.
Perhaps when we begin this fight, if it is meant to occur at the top of this tower, maybe we should try to find a way to bring it further down. If we can.
Just throw him off the side of the tower.
Grab him by the waist and run.
That's what it
Can do
takes.
that.
As long as we can still grab our weapons and have a strong grip.
As long as he fucking dies.
You better get the killing blow after today.
I think that'll be hotly contested. I look over at Liliana. We'll all do our part.
I think there are going to be multiple fights. All at once. With a man with the source of what's going on here. And whatever arguments he tries to get in. If he cares enough. Eyes on the prize.
I call his eyes.
Prize on the eyes.
Ascending further. Making your way through this next set of stairs, leaving behind this experimental room, or whatever it is. That presence grows closer, the pores sweat blood. A small orb descends the stairs where you ascend and turn. It is almost just a light as it appears. Almost as if it has a physical manifestation, but you see as you look at it that it mostly just seems some kind of energetic or something of the sort. And you see that as it grows a little bit brighter and pulses for a second, catching you off guard, a voice emanates into the room. It has been some time since I have had the warmth of life in my home. Welcome. I hope you have enjoyed your tour thus far. By all means, continue. The light fades.
It fades completely, or can I smack it?
It fades completely. It dissolves out of existence.
What a bitch.
Mm.
Sorry, Lumen. Been
I
around you
think
long
that
enough.
answers our fucking question, doesn't it?
He's arrogant.
Well, may it be his fucking downfall.
My thoughts exactly.
He's powerful. We fucking know that. We're still gonna do what we can.
There's one of him, 6 of us, though.
As far as we fucking know. We haven't run into anyone else in here.
You're not wrong.
Gonna flick Talon between the eyes, like, I'm also here. Just
It's fine.
I can't count. To be
Has
fair,
anyone ever-
technically it was probably forgetting Lewin in real life, and not
I was
the
talking
6
to
cast
Lewin.
members. Yeah.
It's fine.
Has anyone ever been to a magic show?
couldn't afford those.
Can't remember.
What are you saying?
He's an arrogant wizard. I've seen a few arrogant cut-rate magicians. I'll let you in on a little secret. It's all about the distraction. And I just realized that he knew we would ascend. And he put things in those rooms to distract. Book coming in right when we were there. That had to do with the both of you. The unfinished abomination. And I don't know what else we'll see when we ascend. But it was a tour. He's arrogant. He set those up as tableaus for us. It's a show. Have your emotions, but wield them. Don't be distracted. Be reminded of them. Evelina, what you saw on the ground floor, and what you said. All of those souls. Misfortunes. All of them. Like I represented Ocean. We represent all of them. All of Xeyhath. We owe them not to be distracted. Cheap parlor tricks. You're better than them. Be emotional. Keep it in your weapon. Go through these rooms, do not be. Scream. Burn. Do what you must. Come back to center. I'll be there. We've got this.
Keep moving forward.
He's just a magician. We're the audience who wants a refund. Let's go.
DM, during this very inspirational talk, can I don't know why I attempt to try and look, because I don't have to, but can I see if the next floor is the final floor, or possibly if there's one more?
It's hard to tell. By estimation, it seems like you may have a few more to go.
Okay.
Everybody, just for shit's sake, just because, well done, Hunter, everybody go ahead and give yourself inspiration.
Inspiration?
So, is that inspiration from Hunter or inspiration from DM? And what's the difference between player versus
just
DM?
Just give yourself DM inspiration because of Hunter, yes.
Okay. So that means we get to reroll or add a d20. What's yours?
It's just advantage, yeah. So it's just, it'll just be an advantage on a roll if you would like it.
DM, just a quick mechanic question, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want this to be a complicated question, but I hope you'll see where I'm going with this. We've been ascending for quite a while in a tower, and we kind of talk about toppling the tower, and I have that kind of in the back of my head. I just want to really do my best as we're ascending. The structural integrity of such a... Because you mentioned something like there is some wood that has been blighted. I don't know what part of the structure that is.
There doesn't seem to be any wood of the structure itself. Most of it is stone. The only wood that you've witnessed thus far seems to be the doors themselves.
Okay.
Maybe a few. I mean, the bookshelves and stuff, they were also wooden. But
okay, just try to clock the general size of this, just in case I find myself in a position to do something about this tower. What would cause the most damage? Probably not toppling, but something that's catastrophic to his mission.
Yep. From what you can gather, it would take a tremendous amount of energy. None that you could muster yourself, none that even the party themselves could muster altogether to topple a tower as fortified as this appears to be. It's very thick walls. To topple the entire tower itself, it would have to be nuclear.
Okay, good to know.
Making your way up those steps once more. Now knowing that your presence is known and already anticipated to a certain degree, anticipating the door to open again in its same way. This time the door does not open before you. The door remains closed.
I'd like to go up and inspect it.
Okay, go ahead and roll investigation check.
Liliana will go up there as well.
Go ahead.
Guidance!
On whom?
Oh, Talon.
$19 on investigation.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem to be, as both of you kind of inspect it, it doesn't seem to be anything special, anything different about this one as opposed to the ones that were opened before you? It's just not opened by any kind of magical means before you.
Can I look for traps, or would that be part of the investigation as well?
Doesn't seem to be any kind of trap associated with it, not physical, as far as you can tell. As far as you can discern, no magical traps associated with it either. Just not an opened door.
I will open the door, or attempt to open the door.
You die immediately. I'm just kidding.
All right.
Everybody gets
got
one.
3.
Everyone gets one, you motherfucker. You open the door. Marching forward within this room. This one empty. Emptier than the others, talking about unutilized space. Kind of glancing around, anticipating to see something.
So are any rooms within the room?
No other rooms within the room. A set of stairs across the room, across the way. Much like the ones prior.
I would like to take the scarf off of the staff to reveal that I observe what it's doing.
The eye still seems to be moving very erratically. In this case.
I will
That
stand in the
sense
doorway.
of I will declare, sorry. The effects that have been felt thus far have been accumulative, and none of them have gotten lesser as you got further away from when you first felt them. They have intensified. Evelina, that same amount of spirits still flutters in each of these rooms that you feel. It wasn't just that one chamber, that one massive room. Every level of this tower is filled with the spirits of these damned. Countless at the first, still countless yet.
Liliana will stand in the doorway, almost like ushering everybody to come through, assuming her position at the back of the group. We keep going up.
Yes, but I don't trust this room. Why is it so empty?
Can I cast light on a nail, which I got a bargain, and throw it just to the other end of the room?
It dies immediately. Fuck you, Nail. Got you. Just kidding.
Nailed it?
Yes, you may.
Okay. I do that, paying more attention to the shadow that it would, if they stay consistent.
It stays consistent. There's nothing discernible. The nail clanks against the stone across the way. The light travels with it. No issue.
He starts walking slowly to the stairs.
I will follow.
I will also follow cautiously, probably around Liliana's, like in order of movement. And this might sound really strange, but it's D&D. I would like to try. I don't know how I do this. To like calm the eye. And
They're there.
pretty much just like
Give it a kiss.
it's okay. I don't know if like saying this is gonna help me, but like show me what you see, kind of thing.
Roll persuasion.
Trying to glare into the eye, it seems like it does not behave as you would hope in any attempt to kind of tame the eye and really focus its attention on you. You think for a moment maybe it'll focus its attention on you. It sputters there for a moment, and then you see it very quickly, just suddenly lock straight ahead towards the stairs to which is your destination. It locks ahead as if it has picked a target finally for a moment. Fox J, you feel a presence, and then this voice that just whispers within your mind. Fox J.
Do I recognize?
Certainly do. More than you've ever recognized a voice in your entire life.
Hello. Beautiful.
You don't have to do this. You don't have to give your life.
I miss you so much.
You don't need to die to be with me. There are other ways. He could show you. Listen to him, trust him, join him. You could join us. There are other ways.
Do we hear any of this?
Nope, just Fox J.
Is he talking out loud?
No.
Do we notice that he
still
seems
in
concentrated
his
and
mind's
stopped
eye.
walking?
It's hard to notice with everything else going on. Talon.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I noticed that the eye is locked on something. I will point that out first of all and just say that something in here, the eye is seeing something.
He's gonna stop and take a couple steps back.
But I haven't noticed Fox J, so I can't say to that.
Talon, as you heed this to the party, the hairs stand on the back of your neck. You feel a presence encroach upon your space, and a familiar voice to you. Long-time friend, comrade. Talon.
No.
Oh god, I wasn't ready. I recognize the voice.
You certainly do.
I will instinctively touch my scarf that has hidden my lack of eyes for so long. Mander.
You have done very well. You've made it this far. It's impressive. But Talon, this fight, it is not worth it. You've played your part. You've played your part on the wrong end. Just keep an open mind. There will be a new world that will form. We can play our part in it. You can have your eyes back. He has that power. I have seen it.
I've never told you anything about my eyes.
I know what
I haven't
happened.
talked- I haven't talked to you since the incident.
I have been wanting to. The time was never right, but now. The time is now.
The wrong side. You're not Adonis.
It is not too late. It's never too late. The voice
I'm going to-
fades, the presence fades.
Fuck.
The eye shifts around, locks towards a position still kind of in front of you, in front of the party. Kimak, that same sensation rushes through you. It's not something you've felt much of in your lifetime, that spiritual contact. My foolish sister.
Does he sound
Listen.
like the last time I heard him?
Very much so. I know
Okay.
it's been a long time, but gotten yourself into a lot of little conundrums. Hey,
I
no
got
hard
myself-
feelings, right?
Kimak immediately goes into rage
Hey,
and starts
hey,
screaming.
calm down.
I got myself into this!
You know, I am the last person you've cared about.
I don't give a fuck about you. You sold me out. You sold me to Yarick, and you have the nerve to come to me. Speak another word again, and I'll find the body that you inhabit and eviscerate it myself. She's saying all this out loud, by the way. She's angry.
Sister, the body I inhabit, I am always with you.
Hmm. You haven't been with me since you sold me to Yarick. You've been dead to me ever since. Stay dead.
I will. The voice and that presence fleets from you for a moment. Farron, you kind of notice among your companions, especially after Key shouts it out loud. This kind of catches your attention now, realizing that she's hearing something within her own mind, something that you can't grasp onto yourself. Farron, you feel a presence, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. Farron, why didn't you help us? Why did you leave? Why did you... Why didn't you stay and fight and die like the rest of us? What good is this now? What good is this now, Farron? Farron, why?
I don't respond to the voices in my mind, but I do start to sing. Voice shaky, uncertain. But I start to sing the funeral song that there was not time for before. I don't respond to any of the voices, and the louder they get, the louder I try to sing.
There was a moment and where generally you would feel the souls grow to peace in a moment such as this, and hope that they find that peace, and they're led to it in this moment. It doesn't seem to find them. In fact, the number of spirits, instead of diminishing, it grows larger and more burdensome and more bearing, and you feel the presence of these forces close in on you. The shouts of help and almost judgment and guilt grow heavier, and as the spirits move closer and more rampant, they devolve into whispers, and they become a dull Farron, there is other ways. Yes, that brings us some peace. Some peace. But there can be full peace. You may not understand it now. You may not see what it is that he is doing. But in the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things, there will be peace.
I sing for those who have truly died. I know that you are not them, and I do not sing for you. Be gone from me.
Then may you join them. The spirits all flutter away. Evelina, you feel this warmth return to your skin as you've never felt before. Not in your current recollection of your life and time and existence. You feel this pleasant, strange sensation of hunger. It's at first discomforting, this strange knot in your stomach, but then as your eyes well up a little bit and you feel unprovoked emotions, you feel alive. This could be yours. You could return to the life that you so long to return to. I have the power to make such things happen. Do you think that that is not my ultimate goal in all of this? Shambling masses of undead? No. A new, beautiful society. And you could be a part of it if you cooperate.
You've already taken everything from me. How can you do that?
I can show you. You just have to trust me. I understand. It is hard to understand. It is hard to trust.
I believe you. You've taken so many lives.
No. No. I am giving new life. I could show you, but in the end, you will all experience it, whether you try this or not. So I suppose it is the easy way or the hard way.
How is this creating new life? What was wrong with the life before?
There is a certain conflict. I don't suppose we have time to go over all of it, but I have discerned that there is a certain degree of cleansing that can be done to both the body and the spirit, the soul, so to speak, when they are separated from each other. A very great deal of cleansing. You've felt an aspect of it. You are quite a miraculous case. You could be very helpful in the formation of this new world.
You wish to cleanse everyone's souls.
Oh, yes, you've seen it, haven't you? Even in your short stint of consciousness. So much corruption, so much evil. I know sometimes the refining fires can seem cruel. That's all this is. It is refining fires. I'm afraid I must go. I have others to commune with. I hope that we can continue this conversation in more mannered circumstances. Take care of yourself, Evelina. You feel the presence fade from you. You feel that dread and that knot in your stomach, as uncomfortable as it was at first, and then comforting and warmth of your skin. You feel lifeless once again. You feel what you have been missing since regaining your consciousness, this death. The Liliana, you feel a presence and a feminine voice to speak out and whisper into your ear. Vengeance has taken you far. Forgiveness can take you further. You just have to be open to it. I have let go. I have joined, and you can too. You've seen how powerful he is. Why resist?
the voice.
It is very familiar. It is who you think it is.
Huh? When?
You feel as if it almost starts to respond. And then it's almost as if this spirit has been discovered. You kind of witness and almost hear it slushing around that eye, glancing from two figures at once, as if it has learned new information or is seeing new figures. You feel the sensation of the two figures, one of them stationary, the one where the feminine voice emanated from, and you feel if there were a visual to it, as if the other approaches the one standing still and studies them for a second inquisitively, and then embraces with a metaphorical outreached spiritual hand. If you could see it as it forms in your mind's eye, that's how it forms. You knowing what the figures are, and then you hear within your mind's eye, you hear within your mind's ear, and the hairs stand up on the back of your neck, the back of your neck, as this voice emanates. Interesting. And the spirits flee from you. Anything anybody would like to do after all of that?
Do all of those moments happen simultaneously, or is it one after the other?
Relatively, yes. Relatively simultaneously. Aspects of overlap, but also mostly mostly kind of consecutively. But they happen. Where it feels as they played out in real time as we watch or as we performed it out, they happen in like a flutter of time, and not a whole lot of time has passed where all of this has happened consecutively.
So from our, I don't know what to call this, sleep paralysis, we're all like drawing back, and Farron and Kiamak are, Farron is singing, Kiamak is screaming, and that's what we're coming back to then.
Yep. You
Stay
also,
dead,
as each
bitch.
of you kind of regain this lucidity for a moment, where not only were your pores sweating blood, and just in a minor sense, you feel a drip from either one or two nostrils, each of you, and your noses are bleeding. This weight is heavier. This power that surrounds you and looms above you. Certainly a threat.
Alan is going to start marching straight towards the stairs, like hearing everything that's going on. And to anyone he marches right on past, you kind of hear him muttering, "Don't get to bring him into this, you bitch," and just like continues.
It's falling right behind.
Um,
Very mad.
Why, hello there, legend. This epic quest needed to be broken up into 4 different parts, so make sure you click on over to the next video or continue listening if you're over on Spotify.